And what do we have here? What do we have here? And as David the Good likes to say, compost everything. This thing's going in there as well. And I'll just cut right to the chase. It's looking like I am going to have to go back to work. I'm not sure. Howdy, yo folks. Welcome back to the Homestead. I'm Sean the Modern Yeoman, and right off the bat, I'd like to acknowledge the fact that this is an unplugged episode, and as such lacks the typical editorial embellishments that I usually include in my vlog posts, things like music and fancy editing. There's a couple of reasons for this. Number one, I'm actually really strapped for time this week, and I don't really have as much time as I'd like to devote to editing. I've got some news and updates on that front. There will probably be some changes to the channel moving forward. Nothing bad, I'm not going away, but I'll tell you about those changes here in a few minutes. Number two, sometimes I just enjoy an unplugged episode. I feel like when things are overproduced, it diminishes the intimacy between you, the viewer, and me, the host. Occasionally when things are a little more raw, I think that it's a good thing. It's something I'd like to encourage. I feel a little bit more intimate when I'm talking with you guys. And today, in today's episode, I think that's something I'd like to encourage. Before I get to the news and stuff I wanted to tell you about, I actually do have quite a bit of work I need to do here on the homestead. Namely, preparing the stock tank, the brooder, for the arrival of the meat chicks, which should be arriving here in the next few days. I'm actually going to move that brooder into the stall in the barn, and I'm going to take the meat chicken tractor and move it out to the pasture where they'll eventually be running. So if you'd like to spend the next few minutes working with me, sit back, relax, and root me on from the comfort of wherever you're watching this video. In the meantime, if you're interested in one of these mugs, these Modern Yeoman branded mugs, you can find them in the Modern Yeoman Mercantile along with things like t-shirts and hoodies. I'll include a link to that store in the description below. Anyways, let's get some work done, okay? Now the chicks, the new laying crew, the 6 of them, they actually haven't been in this brooder for a few days now. I've actually been keeping them outside in their new medium-sized tractor, which they seem to have enjoyed. They haven't had any problems with it, as far as I know. So this thing's actually been vacant for a few days. I just need to get it out of here, and it won't fit through the door right here. Let me show you. It won't fit through this door right here. So I actually have to lift this tractor high enough. I'm going to flip this on its side so I can scoot it out. Because this tractor is so heavy, it's not something I can just lift up and pull it out. I actually need to lift it with cinder blocks. Maybe 2 or 3 more cinder blocks. I don't know. We're going to see. I would ask my dad for help, but he's out and about right now, so something I've got to take on my own. But I kind of like the challenge, to be honest with you. One thing that I've learned for the future is to never ever put anything inside of this meat chicken tractor that I can't take out via this doorway, such as the stock tank. Originally I got this thing out, I think it was my dad actually that helped me. I lifted it up and he pushed it under. So now I have the fun part of getting this thing out by myself. Got it. That wasn't so bad. And I got a lot of chicken poop, carbonaceous goodness that I can throw in my compost. This stuff. Oh, and what do we have here? What do we have here? I won't get a close-up on it, but it looks like it's the carcass of a dead pigeon. And as David the Good likes to say, compost everything. This thing's going in there as well. I'd like to give a special shout out to both David the Good and his brother, Brian the Good. I don't know if he goes by a different moniker. For shouting out my channel. I really appreciate it. I really look up to both of those guys. So for them to shout out my channel was a high honor for me. If you're from their channels, I'd like to say welcome. If you haven't checked out David the Good's channel or Brian's channel, the Flannel Guys, I'd highly suggest that you check those channels out. I think you'd really like them. I've included a link to both of those channels in the description below. I love the smell of fresh wood chips. I don't know what it is about that smell. Cut wood, wood chips, sawdust. I just love it. So I'm gonna put down a thin layer of this stuff for now, but I'm probably gonna, just because I'm gonna be cleaning this so much and the chicks are so small, I think a thin layer will suffice, and I'll be cleaning it probably every day. I've got a lot more wood chips up in the hayloft that I'll throw down as necessary, but I think this is a good start for when our new meatballs arrive. I've also got this little mason jar waterer that I'm going to put in there. These little feed pans, I've got 2, which I think will suffice for 25 little chickens, but I can throw down another one if necessary. And then, of course, the brooder. Where did I put the brooder at? Sorry, I meant to say the brooder panel, which I'll put in here. Now, that seems pretty big, but I don't know if that will be enough for 25 chicks. I'm actually going to lower it too. Right now it's at the highest setting. I need to bring it down very low for those chicks. So just in case that's not enough for the 25 little chicks, I got myself a traditional heat bulb as well. We've got some heat lamps laying around, and I will hang that heat bulb, that heat lamp from up here, and put it in here as necessary. But I'm hoping this little heat panel will work for 25 chicks, but again, if not, we'll go back to the time-tested heat bulb for them. I think this should suffice in terms of protecting them. I'm going to put some cinder blocks on here so no critters can get in, but I think this ought to do the trick from keeping rodents, snakes, raccoons, what have yous out of here. You might be wondering about all these weeds that you see around here. These aren't actually weeds. They're called Sweet Annie. We talked about them a couple months ago. They were very small and just starting to sprout up. We're actually saving them to harvest them because they smell amazing. Think baked apple or something like that. These things we're gonna harvest. We're probably gonna turn them into wreaths, something like that. I'm not sure. Holly's got some more ideas about what she wants to do with them. But they're cluttering up the north lean-to here, and they kind of bother me that they're in here, but we will be harvesting them soon for use in pleasant smelling applications. Okay, now that we've got all that out of the way, let's talk about this news, these updates I was gonna tell you guys about. And I'll just cut right to the chase. It's looking like I am going to have to go back to work. I'm not sure yet if it's gonna be in a part-time or a full-time capacity, but it's gonna be in a capacity that allows me to continue working here on the homestead and to continue producing YouTube videos. I'm not sure exactly what the schedule is going to look like. And there's a lot of different reasons I'm doing this, which we can maybe get into as the months progress, but let's just say now is the time that we could use a little bit of extra money here on the homestead. Now, how does this play out for the channel? Well, I won't have as much time to devote to 2 fully edited episodes every week. I'll probably still have time to get 1 fully edited episode a week done, probably not 2. And so what I'm going to try and shift towards in the next few weeks is having 1 normal Modern Yeoman episode. If you guys have been watching me for a while, then you know that I have kind of a format that I stick to. It's a highly edited episode where I go around and talk about different things on the homestead. It's a lot of music, a lot of crazy edits. I'm talking about different things. It's kind of a fun thing. And that's every episode. But what I think I'm going to need to do is, if I want to keep up with 2 episodes a week, which I do want to continue to do, is have 1 episode be a little bit more bare bones, something like what you're watching today. One of the things I'm thinking about is just having like a work with me Wednesday where I just film myself working, kind of like what I did today. And there's not too much in the way of production and fancy editing. It's kind of just me working and talking with you, chatting with you while I'm doing it. I might get into live streams at some point in the future, I'm not sure. I like the idea of having kind of 1 bare bones episode a week, me working, a little bit of chatting, saying hey, giving you an update on things, and 1 normal Modern Yeoman episode that you guys have kind of grown to expect, where I have the full format, the music, the crazy edits, all that kind of stuff. Some people might not be happy about that. Some people might think that's kind of cool, but that's the direction that I'll be going in. Again, because I will be working off homestead here in the next few weeks. How that's going to look like, I'm not sure, but I will be off the homestead working. Long story short, you can expect to see this change in format here in the next few weeks. I don't have exact dates. I just know that this will be occurring here within a month or two. I'm still gonna have my meat chickens. I'm still gonna press forward with the homestead. Still gonna get pigs, still gonna build, still go forward with all my plans. I'll just be a little bit busier for a while. Anyways, thanks for hanging out with me on this unplugged edition of The Modern Yeoman today. And until next time, remember, as always, slowly, slowly.